how good is this day, this Shabbat. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Thank
Shalom.
you and welcome to those who are joining us here at Temple, as well as those who are with us through Video Land. We turn now to page 2 for the lighting of the Shabbat candles, which will be led by Ruth. Our parents may help too.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you, most series. We continue with welcoming our Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi on page 20 and 21. We will be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala,
You may be seated, page 22. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, a psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your design. A brute cannot know. A fool cannot understand this. Together, the righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong.
We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'vyamechon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman kariv ve'imru amen Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lamei amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekudusha v'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. If you have not already risen, you may rise in either body or in spirit for the Baruch Hu, page 28. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai, rai, rai, yai, rai, rai, rai. Yai, rai, 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 rai. Yai, rai, rai, yai, rai, rai, rai. Yai, rai, 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 rai.
Together at the top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ma'ariv alamim. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha havta. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Elohecha bechol levacha uvchol nafshecha uvchol meodecha vehayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha v'derech u'shochbecha uvkumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha lema'an tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet.
39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Yifros Aleinu Tukat Shlomecha, that sukkah of peace over our heads, with Hashkivenu, page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Ushmor Tzitinu, Uvoenu, Lechaim u'lishalom, ve'ata be'adolam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim.
44. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits. It allows God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise for the tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Yisrael. v'chol yom yehalenu chasena. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. We're at the bottom of page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers, and there may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. 59, the bottom, together. When we behold the heavens, the work of your fingers,
the moon and the stars that you set in place.
What are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lahodot. Page 60.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Omcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Omcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Omcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Omcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Omcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Omcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
Please take a moment for silent prayer. We will meet at page 62. וישבח אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, ויברך וירפא את החולים. We ask God's blessing of healing for all who are in need of healing of body or spirit. On this Shabbat, we ask God to be particularly mindful of the needs of Carol DeVore, Joe Fallick, Joe Feinstein, Yesela to his sister, Jerry Fenton, Roger Ford, Javi Freimark, Earl Hecker, Lorraine Gerber, Shari Kotzen-Hauber, Merrill Hirschland, Richard Hittow, Stan Greenberg, Joel Katz, Steve Keating, Sally Keaton, Melinda Solson, and Judy Zimmerman. Are there any other names we wish to mention? Mindy Miller,
Mallory,
Chuck Silverman,
Martin Edelman, the people of Ukraine.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleichem Vayishlach Lehem Refuah Shalema, Refuah HaNefesh U'Refuah HaGuf, Hashta Ba'agala V'Zman Kariv, V'Imru Amen. May God send each and every one of them, and those who are in our minds and hearts, a complete and speedy healing of body and spirit.
Page 253.
Thank you. Gersh, am I good?
You're a little
Where
hot,
am-
Rabbi. I'm gonna fix
I'm a
it.
little what?
You are hot.
Tell Lisa. No. All right, while we're doing that, I'd like everybody to meet Dennis and Gail Blitz, who are congregants at the other colony that was in Chicago, who were members of our, and they showed up tonight. They have family here, so love bomb. Should I try it now? How's that?
Go again?
Hello, hello.
One more time?
Should I sing something? No, you don't want me to. No, you don't know, no. There's a sin in the Talmud called Mafriya HaKahal, which roughly translated means discomforting a congregation. There's a reason, no. Am I okay now? All right, thank God. Baruch Hashem, I have a mark here. Okay, good. Shabbat. Because we've been working out the right place for me to stand when I come down here. I can do what I'm doing from up there, but it's not particularly friendly. So I've been doing this, but then I get complaints, okay? My grandparents had an expression, wie me dreht sich is in tuches in hinten. Not, okay, so you got the one word. All right, it was an old Yiddish expression, no matter how you turned yourself, was always behind you. Okay? So, anyway, so we figured out that we needed to work on where I was going to stand, but once we figured it out, we figured we better mark it, and if it's here in a couple weeks when I'm back with you guys, who knows, but whatever. I don't want to dye the carpet, you know. Shabbat Shalom. The Torah portion is bo. Now, bo has become a very important word in my family's life. I don't usually talk about my family, but tonight I'm going to make an exception, right? Because our 16-month-old granddaughter, who is going to an excellent preschool, a Gan in Jerusalem, has recently started to say boi. I'm going to do the Hebrew grammar for you, relax. Right? The word bo generally is translated as to come. Right? In this week's Torah portion, we translate it as go, because God tells Moshe, bo el paro, go to Pharaoh. And just to put it in context for you, the Torah portion, not the preschool, just to put it in context for you, the Torah portion is in the middle of the plagues, right? Tomorrow morning, we're going to study on the plague of locusts. So those of you who are into locusts, come on. So it's the middle of the plagues, and God tells Moshe to go bo el paro. That's the name of the Torah portion. Bo-e is the feminine command form. So to a woman, you would say boi come, or to a girl, you'd say boi come. So Nava, our granddaughter, obviously her preschool teachers say that to her, but for her, that has become a general term, not yet differentiated between masculine and feminine. She's 16 months old, right? But that has become a general term for her when she wants somebody to come or when she wants something, right? So the general concept of moving something is there, right? But the finer details of what to move, is it masculine or feminine? Do I want it to come or do I want it to go? That's not quite there yet, all right? There is still change that needs to take place. And watching that developmental stage in our granddaughter's life reminded me of the Torah portion. I don't know that she's read it yet. Because why does this phrase come in the middle of the plagues? Right before the plagues of locusts, before it really gets bad. I would like to suggest a little hint. A little bit further on in the Torah portion, we get the laws of Passover, right? Because we're coming up on Pesach. Next week's Torah portion is Bashalach, which means get going. We're coming up on that. And before the Pesach in Egypt, we get the rule that only Hebrews, well, that's not quite the truth, that strangers are not allowed to take part in the Passover. Right? Most of our mitzvot are very universal. We welcome people of all faiths to our services and all that, but Pesach is exclusive, and it says, all right, that you're not allowed. A little further on in this week's Pasha, Vayomer Adonai el Moshe v'Aaron, God says to Moshe and Aaron, Zot chukata Pesach, this is the law of Pesach, Kol ben necher lo yochlu bo. No ben necher shall eat of the Passover sacrifice. Right? A ben necher is an interesting word because it's not a zar, which is another biblical word, which means someone who is prohibited from something. and it changes its meaning in context. I ain't going to do that lecture tonight. All right? But a ben necher is a foreigner, somebody who you don't accept as another person, as another human being. The rabbis use the term min, mem nun, meaning somebody you don't accept. And if you listen to Daniel Gordis's podcast earlier this week, he talks about the acceptance of other people as being human beings. So we have this idea of who's in and who's out, and it is introduced by this Boel Palo, go to Pharaoh. Now the other overarching concept that we see in the Passover story is the idea of God making Pharaoh's heart immovable. Usually poorly translated as hardening Pharaoh's heart, but the word is kaved, which literally means to make it heavy. Usually it means kind of sluggish, make it heavy, not thinking too good, that kind of thing. But it also means liver. Right? If you go into the store in Israel, you ask for kaved off, you'll get chicken livers. For those of us who are still permitted to eat that kind of stuff, which is not too many. What's a liver? In the Tanakh, in the Bible, the liver is the seat of your emotions. Right? The anatomy is different. The liver is your emotions. Your heart is what you think, your liver is in your emotions, your kidneys do something else. Right? So if we pull of this all together, right, God is telling Moses to go, and Aaron both, to go to Pharaoh and affect, not just go to Pharaoh, but Bo, like my granddaughter, God was telling them to affect some change, to put something in motion, because it doesn't necessarily mean go, it means some change of position. We're trying to get Pharaoh to get off of his emotional reaction, right? Because his heart is kaved, it's tied up in his emotions, and maybe a little stupid too. Often those two things come together, right? And to have a different understanding of who is a ben necher from the point of view of the Egyptians, who is acceptable as a human being to the Egyptians, right? And before you think I'm making all of this up, remember in the Joseph narrative, even though Joseph is accepted by Pharaoh as an important official, and Pharaoh gives him an Egyptian wife and an Egyptian name, what did we also learn from the text about Joseph? The Egyptians wouldn't eat with him. Remember that story? That he ate separately. It's in the text. I'm not making that up. All right? All right? That the Egyptians wouldn't allow him to eat at the lunch counter. Think about it that way. Because who we will eat with indicates who we will accept as another full human being. So on one level, we can understand this Bo story about Moses God telling Moses and Aaron to go to Pharaoh and say, look, get some change in Pharaoh so that he's not so bloody stupid, all right? And he stops thinking with his liver, and he accepts the Hebrews as human beings. And decides, okay, you want to leave, you can leave. Because that might have changed the whole picture. And Pharaoh's continued refusal, even in the face of his own advisors telling him to make a change, that's also in this Torah portion, by the way, It's ultimately what causes the destruction of all the firstborn of Egypt, as well as the destruction by the locusts and the destruction of all the other plagues. Why am I spending time in this convoluted, but I think accurate, interpretation of the Torah portion? Because are we not in that position now? Are we not in that position now? Right? The refusal to recognize those with whom we disagree, or those of color, or those with whom we have some kind of a competition, as full human beings, the ability to change our minds, the ability to change the way we do things. That's what this Torah portion is talking about, along with all the other messages that are there. Right? Earlier today, I was listening to a commentary, I don't remember who it was, who said this tragedy in Memphis. The difference between this and the event a couple of decades ago, I'm forgetting the guy's name. Rodney King, thank you. Is that the police officers in the Rodney King case thought nobody was watching. They thought nobody was watching. But the cops today, they know they have the body cameras running. They know there's a video surveillance on every street, almost every street corner. They did what they did knowing that the world would see it. And we can roll that back to the politics in Israel, which some of us were online talking about a couple nights ago. And we can roll that back to the politics in our country as well. What we need to advocate for as Americans, as citizens, as Jews, regardless of where on the political spectrum you find yourself, is the message of this week's Torah portion. Bo el Paro. Go to whoever is the Pharaoh, whoever is the person in charge at the moment, give him or her whatever title you like. All right? Because Pharaoh is a title, it ain't a name. And Bo, not just go to them, but go to them to effect change, some real change. And how we treat each other as human beings, as who we accept into our society. That's the challenge. It's not a new challenge, but it is a constant challenge. There's not good news yet in this Torah portion. The Exodus doesn't happen for a little while, but it does happen. And the Exodus from the malaise in which we are in now, around the world, and in this country, and in Israel, that will happen too. But Bo, we have to go, we have to move, we have to do something about it. Shabbat Shalom.
We invite up our search committee chairs, Jean Farber and Tony Cassandra, to help open the Ark for Aleinu. Please rise in body or in spirit. We are on page 282. Shalom,
Please remain standing. (293). Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends or neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This Shabbat, we remember the recent passing of Gordon Edward Schechter, the great-nephew of Suzanne Levine, who lived only 8 days. And we remember Yosef ben Avraham, Barry Rudnick's father, and to you, Barry, we say, Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'toch Sharav Leitzion V'Yerushalayim. May the presence of God comfort you, along with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We remember the yortzites of Emma Axelroth, Nathan Canvasser, Bert Cohen, Eden Goldenberg, Marvin Gross, Joseph Gutman, Harry Hecker, Sanford Hertzfeld, Mildred Katz, Ben Kaufman, Walter Kellerman, Lillian Kelmanson, Laurie Ann Kern, Belle Levy, Morris, who's known as John Mandel, Abraham Nessel, Shirley Person, Harry Pryweller, in whose memory the followers are dedicated this evening, Manuel Rottenberg, Rebecca Roth, Ida Ruvinsky, Pauline Sabaroff, Warren Schwader, Louis Siegel, Isidore Silverman, Frederick Stein, Ida Stein, and Manfred Vorenberg. And there are the other names we wish to mention.
Amy Sherman.
Zacharias.
Laura Vagant.
Thank you.
Bonnie Christensen.
Together, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayei chon v'yomei chon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam le'amei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shmei d'kusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom imromav, v'ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the one who brings harmony to the heavens bring peace to us, to all Israel and all humanity. Amen v'amen. We call on Alan Wormser for announcements. Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you to our fabulous usher in the doorway. Sorry. The flowers this evening are sponsored by Sis Mizell in memory of Harry Pryweller. We have our third rabbinic candidate visit scheduled for Sunday, January the 29th and Monday, January 30th, both at 7 p.m. Sunday night will be a meet and greet. Monday night will be an adult learning opportunity. A Zoom link is available for the Monday night session. Please RSVP to the office if you'd like to attend either of the sessions in person to meet the candidate or if you'd like the Zoom link. We've had fabulous connections with the first couple of candidates, and I would invite or influence you to please come in person and meet these people. There is still time to sign up for our January member-hosted dinner. This will take place tomorrow evening, January 28th at 6 p.m. This is a potluck dinner at a member's home where everyone brings something for the meal. Meet new people, see old friends, and have an informal Havdalah after the meal. Contact Cynthia Katz, who happens to be in the front row, well, second row. With any questions to attend? Purim is almost here. We need players for the not ready for prime time spiel and volunteers to help with the dinner. Join us on Wednesday, February 1st at 7 p.m. on Zoom. We will unveil the theme of this year's Purim, where we will unveil the theme to this year's Purim. I guess it's not going to be Saturday Night Live. Don't take that. Email Janet or Cheryl in the Temple office for the Zoom link. Next, join us on Friday, February 3rd. Wow, it's warm up here. When we will have our Tu B'Shvat Shabbat. Celebrate the birthday of trees and learn about environmental concerns with the help of our green team. We will eat some delicious food at our pre-neg, prior to our services at 5:30. Okay, I got you. Not an O-neg, but a pre-neg. All are welcome. Join us after services for our first Friday dinner at Library Pub. Again, all are welcome. Also, TKA Sisterhood invites you to their annual Tu B'Shvat Seder. This will take place on Monday, February 6th at 7 p.m. It will be an in-person and on Zoom event. RSVP to Donna Weingarten, who is also in the second row, or call the Temple office. Finally, join us for Super Bowl 57 watch party at TKA. This will take place on Sunday, February 12th at 5:30 p.m. The cost is $10 per family, and all that includes food, drinks, and fun. RSVP to the office, and you can figure out who's going to be in the Super Bowl this weekend. Don't want to say go Eagles. Well, anybody but the Eagles, I guess. Wishing everyone Shabbat Shalom. And that is the announcements.
Great.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I will also add that if you are joining us on Zoom for our rabbinical candidates, please put your first and last name. It is mostly for Zoom bombing. We don't want to be Zoom bombed. We don't know who you are. So it just makes everybody a whole lot rest easier on our side. We can just be like, oh, welcome, and come in, and we can let you in. So please put your first and last name so that we know who you are. If you need to know how to do that or you have any questions, feel free to ask me or Daniel or Cheryl in the front office. We can help you change your name on Zoom. And for those of you who did come to Rabbi's class on Monday, February's class is February 27th. It's going to be Observing Shabbat as Reformed Jews. So it will be the same link?
No.
Okay, so it will be a new link, so RSVP to get the link, and we will continue with Kiddush and Motzi. We invite Barry Rudnick to help us make Kiddush in honor of his father tonight, and please rise. Page 5.
And as Barry's coming up, I'll remind you tomorrow morning, 9:15, Torah study on live and in person in Studio 2. Or on Zoom, and the materials are available. Come on, Barry. And then services, of course, tomorrow at 11.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon yinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit we invite everyone to have a little bit of challah and juice outside for a little oneg.
Shabbat Shalom.